follicle function, it helps your thyroid. It is a great libido fixer. It improves your immune system, your stress, your metabolism, and it is anti-aging. It's one of the most effective anti-aging hormones that we have. And so, of course, if you're lacking in DHEA, those symptoms start to show up. The thyroid is the one that's responsible for metabolism. You can see that it's all about energy, burning and controlling, burning fat and controlling weight. You know, issues with appetite, your heart rate. Cortisol is another one, and a big one that's really impacting a lot of women. And cortisol is the one that's responsible for balancing your stress levels. Now, the reality is we're all like creating high doses of cortisol. It's not in balance, and that's why we're seeing a lot of women who've got stress, anxiety, melancholy, fatigue. They go all day and then they kind of just collapse the next. So that's due to too much cortisol. So remember, I said earlier, it's about balancing these things. You can have too little or too much of the wrong thing and then you're out of balance. What are some of the signs and symptoms of hormonal imbalances? So again, these are the symptoms we see and some of the health challenges that are coming through because of the main 5 ones I talked about and how those hormones are out of balance. You get the hot flushes, your mood swings, your irregular menstrual cycles, loss of mental focus, the fibroids, the cysts, the breast lumps, you know, the increase of breast cancer. It's just ridiculous. Migraines, your loss of skin tone, infertility. I mean, the list just goes on. You can see there on the other side, endometriosis. Again, a big issue with so many women. Actually, can I just get a show of hand? Who here either is experiencing issues with endometriosis or knows somebody that is? Because it's become as common as a cold. Again, just pop your hand up. I'd love to get, you know, or yeah, type in the chat box. Yeah, like some of you are saying me. There you go. So it is so common, and it doesn't have to be that way. Fluid retention. So many women and men now with fluid retention as well. So you can see it's a lot of side effects. Polycystic ovary syndrome. So what are causing some of these hormonal imbalances? Well, there's definitely a few pieces to the puzzle. We're not going to be able to go through everything in detail, but of course we want to focus on the things that we can help you with solutions today. But you do want to look at your diet. And mineral and vitamin deficiencies are one of the key players. Okay, so we understand we need to eat healthier, cleaner. We need to eat more fresh fruit and vegetables and do all those things. That's important. But we also know we need to make sure we're topping up in certain minerals and vitamins, otherwise we're not getting enough. Stress, like I mentioned earlier, is one of the big impactors with hormonal imbalances, especially around the cortisol. And those of you who are out there and not getting enough sleep, and you know, it's part of the 21st century lifestyle, isn't it? Everything's just fast, you know, switched on fast. I call it the microwave lifestyle. It's everything go, 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 fast, 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 now, now, now. And so this hectic lifestyle, which causes us to have lack of sleep and no time to relax, we're constantly wired, and that is a problem. And stress is a really big issue and is becoming one of the top killers of our society because we're never turning off, we're never slowing down to allow the body to rebalance itself. So if that's you and you're stressed out to the max because life is like that, you're raising children, you're going to work, you're involved in different, you know, things in life, so it's never never really quiet time. So it's important to look at that. Your health conditions play a part, environmental and lifestyle pollutants also play a part, and we're going to focus on specifically these areas because these are the ones that you can easily change and turn around to really start to see benefits. Okay, so we're going to talk about how these estrogen dominant chemicals are out there that are causing problems, the endocrine disrupting hormones, the obesogens, and they're all around us in our environment, and like I said, they're the ones that we can easily change and turn around without it impacting you know, in our time and so forth. Of course, other things like the pill and HRT, because they're synthetic hormones. Now, I'm not going to go into detail about these two areas, but you can just Google the pill and what's in it, Google what's in HRT, and you'll be very much alarmed. They're synthetic hormones that cause all sorts of problems. Yes, I understand. They're used because they have a place. But the idea is if you're on any of these types of solutions, really look at alternatives and help yourself over time, change over to more healthier natural ways, because they do have long-term side effects. So let's touch on these endocrine disrupting chemicals. So our endocrine is our hormonal system, and again, you can Google to your heart's content to find information on this. So basically, I've kind of summed it all up for you to make it easy. But these are the problems that we're having with our endocrine disruptors. One of them is the xenoestrogens. So that is, the word xeno means foreign, estrogens. So what these estrogens actually do, they're not naturally occurring ones, they're not natural ones that our body, recognizes. They actually are synthetic, and they mimic our natural ones. And then they attach themselves to our natural body's receptor sites that create our hormones, and this happens in both men and women, and they start to interfere with our signaling. And imagine if somebody, interfered with the road lights, the red, green and yellow, and somebody started playing, changing the electronics in the signaling of our street, crossing lights. It'd be out of whack, wouldn't it? So this is exactly what's going on with these xenoestrogens. They're interfering with that signaling, and they're changing colors all the time. So because of that, these xenoestrogens have been found now to cause breast, prostate and reproductive cancers. They cause reduced fertility. They bring on early puberty. And again, we only have to look around us. We see this in children. There are so many children that are carrying extra weight. So many children that have, developing, especially young girls, and now we're seeing it in boys, are developing, in regards to breast area very early in the piece. And that is not normal. So we know that this is happening because we can see it all around us. It's also responsible for menstrual irregularities. It causes things like endometriosis and also fat gain. And I'm going to touch on this a little bit more when we move over to the obesogens. Now, obesogens are also a cluster of chemicals that are also known as xenoestrogens, but more specifically, science has now proven that there is a group of chemicals that cause obesity. So that's why they're called obesogens. These actually play havoc with your metabolism and cause you to gain weight. So here we are trying to get on a diet or a health kick and lose some weight, and not realizing that we're exposed to obesogens. And so it is really becoming more and more aware that people may change their diet, may start going to the gym, but they're still not getting the results. They're not shifting weight because it's not about food and just gym. It's about the toxic overload, and that those chemicals that create this toxic overload create fat stools. So you're trying to lose weight, doing the right thing, but the exposure to these chemicals are causing you to gain weight and keep it on and slow down your metabolism. And so we are living now in a world that is estrogen dominant. Right? And you can see there again just the little diagram that shows you just a few of the problems. So this is a reality. It's happening all around us, and again, it's about knowing what you can do to turn some of this around. We'll never be able to avoid it totally, but we can definitely help to clean out our body and also make some changes so we can stop dousing ourselves with these xenoestrogens and obesogens that we can make choices around. Where are these found? Well, you may be surprised to know, but they're actually found in our everyday shopping. And so here is just a quick example of where they're found. Some of you may be aware of the whole change that's happening with plastic bottles and BPA. Let me have a show of hands. Who knows about BPA and how now that there are so many bottles out there and containers and food containers now with BPA free? Well, that's because BPA is a chemical that is a xenoestrogen. It changes your hormones, and they actually found that it was creating a lot of problems with infants because a lot of mothers were using the bottles to warm up, the milk for infants, and they saw that these children were increasing in weight. And this, by law, was now in Australia especially, when they did the research over many years, they saw this, they saw it was BPA that was linked to it, so they've stopped now having any babies' bottles, any babies' products with BPA. Now that's one ingredient, but BPA is found in so many different things. Your plastic water bottles that we're drinking water, in every day has got, BPA. So these things leach into our water and we're drinking them, especially, if they're sitting in our cars, during summer and the heat gets to them. Well, as soon as the heat gets to these types of plastic, they start to leach chemicals into the water. So never ever leave your water bottles in your car. They're also found in tin cans, because the lining of a lot of these tin cans have chemicals that are hormone disruptors. So I'm going to give you the bad news, guys, here, but we have got some solutions for it. But it's, again, just making better choices. And, the best diet is the one that is fresh. Okay, so if you can limit your exposure to tin can things and boxes and packaging like that, then you'll be better off. Other areas, though, that they're present is in our everyday laundry products and our personal care products. And you can see here just a few of the ingredients, and they're linked to, for example, things, well, they're associated with formaldehyde, which is an embalming fluid. Propylene glycol is a brake fluid, and engine degreaser. So you can see all the different types of things here, the ingredients that have made their way into shampoos, toothpaste, soaps, and we're putting this on our bodies every day. And they are, many of them cause a lot of skin irritation, they cause asthma, they build up in our bodies, and long term some of them can even cause cancer. So again, you can Google these ingredients, there's a lot of information out there on them. So we need to be aware that, we're buying these things, and we need to now start getting savvy around it to make better choices. And this is really interesting. This, here picture, you can see it says 26 seconds is all it takes for the chemicals in our personal care products to enter our bloodstream. So what's in your products? Well, I just gave you some ideas of some of the ingredients. And our skin is not a barrier, it's a carrier. We absorb 70% of products that are applied. And many of these personal care products are not regulated by the FDA compared to the food items. So manufacturers of personal care, cosmetics, things like that, they've got free reign pretty much to produce whatever they like. So we need to, again, be savvy shoppers around this and get smart about it. And it's up to the manufacturers to decide whether a product is safe. Here's an example of just lead in lipstick. Lead is now more and more becoming known about the impact. We all know that lead is an issue. We don't want it in our, in our bodies, and yet it's used in lipstick, especially red lipstick. And red is one of those ingredients that actually inhibits proper formation of iodine. Now, iodine is one of the key ingredients that your body needs as a food source for thyroid. So can you start to make the connection here? So many women have got thyroid issues. Now, they don't know any better. I didn't know any better till somebody showed and told me about this, but every day most women will wear lipstick, and if you like, especially your red one, you're getting even more lead in there. You're putting it on and you're also eating it off. And so how many times a day do you put on your lipstick? Over the weeks, the months, the years, this accumulates in your body. So it's the long-term accumulation of these ingredients that's the problem. And that's what we're dealing with. It's not that you're using it once and it's going to harm you. It's even in small dosages, used over and over and over again, accumulates in your body. And then, you're healthy one day and a couple of years down the track, you've got issues and you don't know where they've come from. You've got health problems. So it's really our responsibility to start checking our labels and getting smart around it. And how they disrupt our body as well, many different ways. You can see here they cause abnormalities in reproductive organs. It causes you to be difficult in falling pregnant. It causes premature births, breast development we talked about, reduced sperm count. Okay, so again, we're seeing so many infertility issues, and this is playing out in the women but also the men. sexual development problems, the feminizing of males or masculizing effects of females, there are learning disabilities, and endometriosis and polycystic ovaries. Now here's some research that I came across just the other day, and here it says, research suggests that breast cancers usually develop in the upper outer quadrant of the breast. Oh, sorry, the grammar here's not very well. And that area happens to be the closest to the lymph nodes exposed to antiperspirants. Harmful chemicals used in antiperspirants, cosmetics and sunscreens build up in the lymph nodes. 99% of breast cancer tissue had traces of toxic chemicals. You know, we only have to, see what's going on around us to see the amount of women with breast cancer. The connection is very clear. The evidence is out there. As this says, our lymph nodes are under our armpits, closest to our breast area. We're putting on antiperspirants with aluminiums and propylene glycols and a whole bunch of other chemicals, and we're doing that so we can stop perspiring. But the reality is we were born to perspire. Antiperspirants block you. They block these chemicals in. They stop you from sweating. But they also stop the chemicals and the toxins being released and eliminating from your body. So when they're stored in there day in, day out, year in, year out, eventually it has to come out somewhere. And I really believe this is one of the biggest culprits that, is linked to the increase of a lot of these breast issues. Can I actually ask, is anybody on the webinar or have somebody that they know that is in the beauty industry? Because I really want to talk to you guys tonight too, because myself and everyday people who are using just these everyday products are very much exposed to harmful chemicals. But if you are in the beauty industry, just let me know, because the beauty industry is actually even 10 times worse. So if you are in the beauty industry, if you're a hairdresser, if you're a beauty therapist, if you do, a lot of these manicured nail spas and things like that, you really want to take note of this. And I've actually worked with a number of hairdressers that have been dealing with a lot of these issues. And so this is really an area that is, like I said, tenfold when it comes to these problems, because they're exposed to so many chemicals, and some of them are these toluene, ammonias, and they're found obviously in a lot of salons. They are cancer causing, and they do create a lot of problems, especially when they put heat towards them. So if you're a hairdresser and using a lot of these products, the hairsprays, the dyes and so forth, and you're heating things up, it causes even more of a problem. Hairdressers and cosmetologists are more likely to have reproductive disorders, miscarriages, give birth to low birth weight babies, especially when their work involves using hairspray and permanent waves. So, things to be aware of. Now, I understand you have to make a living. I totally get that. But it really is about making better choices and looking at other things you can do to build your body up, your immune system, and clean out your body as well. My brother, the hairdresser, so I know this firsthand, and he made choices back 17 years ago when I started here with New Ways to change and make his salon a more natural salon. So he uses the New Ways products. He also uses the most safest hair dyes he can to create a much healthier environment. The air quality in these salons are also a problem, because a lot of these vapors, the chemical vapors, are circulating in the air, and if they don't have ventilation, not only the salon operators are exposed to them, but so are the clients. Studies have found increased risk of several types of cancers. Nail salon workers have greater risk of immune disorders such as lupus and primary biliary cirrhosis. Over 60% of workers suffer with skin conditions and dermatitis. So you can see how all this has been impacted, and occupational asthma. So we need to be aware, women, because it is predominantly a women's environment. That's why I'm sharing this with you. This is a great little pocket guide. So the person that invited you onto the webinar tonight has access to this particular pocket guide. Get your hands on one, make sure you follow them up and ask for one, because it's a great one to have with you so you can start to check product labels. And we use this all the time, because these ingredients are not just in your personal care but in your foods as well. So what is the solution? Well, now I'm going to go in. I'm sorry to give you the bad news, but I had to give you the bad news because you need to be aware. We can't just keep putting our head in the sand and hope that things change. So I like to always lay the foundation about what is going on, but I always have some positive news. And now we're going to go into the positive news about what you can do to really start to get your hormones back on track. And it is about putting the pieces of the puzzle together. So clean eating is very important. We touched on that earlier. You want to have as many fresh fruits and vegetables and good foods as possible. That's, definite. But you also want to clean up your environment and limit your exposure to these toxins in the home. These are the things we can control. There are certain things that we can't change. We still have to put petrol in our cars and stand at the petrol pump and pump it in and inhale some of those vapors. But we can change our personal care. We can change our laundry products. That is a no-brainer. We want to cleanse our body of these endocrine disrupting chemicals and obesogens. See, by cleansing, again, it helps you to eliminate what your body isn't able to eliminate naturally anymore because it's burdened so much. So we have solutions that you can get in there and clean it out, give it an overhaul, keep cleaning out these toxins. So the ones you can't avoid, at least you're creating a pathway for them to be eliminated. And that's what excites me, because whether you're a mum or you're a young person, a mature woman, or you're an everyday type of woman, or you are a professional salon operator, you have the ability to make these changes. We're going to look at how you can reset your hormones and support your body by supplementing, and also talk a little bit about the importance of rest and winding down. Okay, so I'm going to take you through now and introduce you to a company called New-Ways International. And for me, I've been involved with New-Ways now for 17 years, like I mentioned to you, and my own personal story is what constantly is a thing that I'm sharing with people, because I've seen the changes. And like I said, I'm very passionate about making sure that women know about this information, because when I started 17 years ago, I had the PMTs. I was a wreck when it came to my hormones. I had the mood swings, I had the bloating that started to happen. The beginning of my menstrual cycle, it was horrible. The first couple of days, it was literally killing over in pain and having to take days off from work. And yet I thought that was normal. And this is the reality. We're sold this idea that that's normal, but it's not. It doesn't have to be this way. And so I'm going to take you through now and show you just the things I did, excuse me, that I started to change, and then I've gone on to connect the same changes with women to help them change. So a little bit about who New-Ways are, so you get a sense of that for people who are on the webinar and hearing this for the first time. And we're a company that for the last 25 odd years have been instrumental in educating people around their health and well-being and having a holistic approach to it. We were the ones who pioneered and got the word out back then about these toxic ingredients that have made their way into everyday products. And we were doing it when it wasn't very well known of and when it wasn't fashionable. And so now there's a lot more information about it. But in the early days, no one, knew that there were so many harsh chemicals in their personal care products, because we had this idea that if they're on the shelf, in the supermarket shelf or in the chemist, they have to be safe. But that's not the case, as we know now. And so we produce premium, high purity, high potency products. And we are all about creating 10 million healthy homes. And Medera, I've left the Medera name in there. Medera is actually what we're going to be transforming to on the 1st of September, but that's a whole other webinar. But really, that's who we are now and have been for the last 25 years, and where we continue to go. And so we avoid all those harmful ingredients, and we have really potent products that can really help turn people's lives around health-wise. It's all about everyday essentials. That's what we do. We help share with people how they can just change over, use safe products, get healthy. We have products that are all in all these categories. We have skincare, hair care, laundry, kitchen, body, toothpaste, weight management, cleaning products, active health products, targeted health products, balanced health. That's what we're going to talk about tonight, and some general health. And, you know, it's all about looking at what you use and changing over to safer products. That's the part that's the no-brainer. That's the part that was so easy for me. I didn't have to think about, you know, where do I source the safest non-toxic products out there. I just changed my hair care, my skin care, my toothpaste, the things that I would come in contact with every day that I was swallowing, putting on my skin, absorbing into my body. And then I got onto some nutrition, and that really made a difference. And so that's what NuWays has available to you. Easy to just buy direct from them and make those changes. So the number one step here, the number one step in the puzzle is convert your home, minimize your exposure to these harmful ingredients. You know, these are our bathroom products and our laundry products, some of them. To me, that is so easy to do. These are products we're already spending money on, yet we don't realize that we're actually paying companies to use products that are not really that healthy for us. Okay, so many of them have these toxic ingredients. So to me, just swapping over to your personal care and laundry products will make such a big difference. And they're very concentrated, so you do get great value for your money. Unlike many of these products that you have to go and buy every couple of weeks or a month, the laundry products last you anywhere from 6 to 12 months. The personal care 3 times more concentrated than what is sold on the supermarket shelves. Step 2 is we need to supplement. Really important to understand that our environment's changed, okay? Supplements are no longer a luxury. They are actually a necessity for good health. You know, 50 years ago, if I was sitting here talking to you about vitamins and supplements, really, I wouldn't be making a lot of sense, because our soils 50 years ago were rich in all the minerals, all the vitamins, all the essential ingredients that we needed to have healthy bodies. However, that's not the case 50 years on. And we understand that our soils are depleted because they're over-harvested, pesticides, herbicides are used. And where do you think all that goes? That goes straight into the vegetables that are grown there. And then the vegetables land on our, dinner table and get passed on to us. So there is that cycle. So we need to do something about that. We need to be able to make some changes. And it says here, Australian land degradation, clearing, cropping and grazing pressures have resulted in soil erosion, loss of soil structure and nutrients. Now that was a report back in 1996. Fast forward 2015, do you think our soils are going to be any better? I don't think so. They're actually getting worse. So we need to supplement, and 3 reasons why. We need to supplement because it helps to correct those deficiencies. So it's topping up what your body is deficient in. Our body is a very intelligent system. We give it the right things, it starts to work. If it's deficient of its core nutrient, it starts to slow down and disease happens. It replenishes what's missing in our food because we know our foods don't have enough anymore, so this tops that up. But it also helps to combat environmental stresses. So this is what I was saying before, that we can't avoid all the stresses of the environment, but we can actually help to build our bodies up strong to combat them. So as a daily requirement, we need 90 different nutrients. We need 60 different minerals, 16 vitamins, 16 amino acids, 3 essential fatty acids, and a broad spectrum of antioxidants. And the average person these days gets something like 12 minerals, 3 vitamins, and very little amino acids. So that's why it's so important that we supplement. I'm going to give you the foundation here because to me this is great for everyone. This is what I started with back 17 years ago, which was the Ferroxin, the Oracle, the Revinol. These products helped me to increase my energy levels. It helped me to turn around my anemia. Ferroxin is a mineral drink, Oracle is your multivitamin, Revinol is your antioxidant. They were the things I should have been having in my diet but were lacking, even though I ate good food. So when I started to take this foundation, which we call the Energy Trio, it literally helped me balance things out as far as my energy levels. But I was absolutely gobsmacked when I had my blood tests done and when they told me I no longer am clinically anemic. This is what I put it down to that's turned that around. So this is a really good foundation. I'm going to talk about 2 packs tonight, which really covers the main areas for women's health. The foundation products are their stock standard, but you can also mix and match, or you can also look at the systems we have here for women. One is NDOW System 1, which is this one on the left, and the other one is NDOW System 2. So as it says here, NDOW System 1 is for young women, women in your reproductive years. So it's everything you need to balance your health in your reproductive years. And NDOW System 2 is all about mature women who are in menopausal years. So I'm going to run through those and also some of the issues that we face. So let's look at the reproductive years. We all know if we're suffering from menstrual irregularities and issues. I don't think I have to read all these out, but basically the mood swings, the anxiety, the infertility, lack of libido, acne, a lot of this is due to progesterone deficiency and too much estrogen. So now you can see the information I started with at the beginning, how it starts to connect to these health conditions. So if you don't have enough progesterone, you're going to be this wicked witch of the West, and that used to be me 17 years ago. You're going to have all those aches and pains. Okay, so we know we need to up the progesterone and reduce the estrogen. This is where NDOW System 1 comes in. There are 3 products in this pack, and they're just wonderful because it's everything you need. And I'm going to touch on the individual items in a minute. So if that's you and you're in your reproductive years, this is the program for you. So NDOW Essentials is the first product that's in the NDOW system, and this is a female multivitamin. Okay, so it has everything designed to help us women. So it's got everything we need, especially for pregnancy. You definitely want to be on this. It's got your folate, but it's also got a whole bunch of other things that unfortunately mainstream doesn't realize a woman needs to be healthy and happy and also be fertile. There are things like copper, iodine, iron and zinc, and it also has some of these other major minerals, calcium, phosphorus, vitamin D, vitamin K. All this is a really great combination for a good women's vitamin. Okay, so it has magnesium, selenium, and these are also things that are responsible for having antioxidant properties, for cravings, for aches and pains, for cramps. That's why it's a really good solution, and it's part of the NDOW System 1 and also the NDOW System 2, which is for menopausal women. The balance are a combination of herbs. So there are many great herbs out there that, when used together, will help to alleviate menstrual tension, help relieve the symptoms of a menstrual cycle, the pain of and the breast tenderness that comes with it. And I know many women suffer from this. And some of the ingredients in this beautiful herb combination are your chaste tree, your cramp bark. And look, even that name gives it away, cramp bark. It would help with cramps. It has hops, pomegranate, a lot of these female herbs that are just powerful. And again, there's so much information around these. And you guys have combined them all in together to help in minimizing your menstrual issues. So great one for those period pains and menstrual cycles. Your harmonizing cream, there are 2 types, the NDOW one, which is with essential oils, and the Subvene one, which is without essential oils. You know, you can read the things there on the slide, but I'm just going to tell you this cream has been a lifesaver. Either or, it doesn't matter. I've used both. This is a cream you put on every day, and it works on balancing your hormones day to day, month to month. This is the one that saved me from my mood swings, from my PMT irregularities. I went from having, like I said, aches and pains the first day to not noticing when my menstrual cycle began. Now that's amazing. I didn't believe it until I experienced it. So this cream combined in the pack does a lot of great things. So it eases, it's also an anti-inflammatory, so you can rub it on your stomach if you're getting the cramps, around your breast area, if you've got tenderness, around the neck, if you've got stress. But used in a routine every day, it starts to balance those hormones. It's the one that's responsible for telling your body to produce more progesterone. And the one with the essential oils also has that added aromatherapy to it to calm you down. So that's a great one, and that's in the pack. acne, I'm going to just touch on this very quickly, but again, that's caused by a number of things: diet, hormones, sugar, and toxins. So for those of you that have young children, teenagers who are suffering with this, you want to put them onto the Endo System 1. It's great for them. And there are a lot of issues with some of those acne creams that they're out there using, like Accutane with its many side effects. That's a dangerous drug, in my opinion. But you want to really help and support your teenagers by putting them on the Endo System. And some of the other areas that, you know, are helpful to know, depending on where the pimples and acne is showing up, you need to clean out your body in those areas. So, for example, here, if it's the chin and the jaw area that a lot of breakouts are happening, it's not only hormonal issues, but the kidney is imbalanced, you know, too many chemicals, and it talks about toothpaste here, because toothpaste has harsh chemicals that enter the body. But you can see different areas cause different problems, but you do need to give yourself a good clean out. And so using some of the NuWays products there can help you too. But as a basic start, the Endo System 1 is really good. And here I've just given you a very quick solution that can help too. Ferroxin, because it's minerals, clean out the gut. This is how you can detox yourself and teenagers to help get rid of the acne. You use Lactoflora, which is a probiotic. It's a gut probiotic. And Green Key, which is like a cleaner. It cleans out the muck that's in our gut, and it's all our 40 different greens, from spirulina to kale, in powder form. And it's an amazing product to clean out your system and alkalize your body. So this is a really good solution for teenagers. Now, I've got the laundry powder here because you really do want to change the chemicals in your bathroom, because a lot of those irritate acne. Okay, so we know when we've changed over the laundry powder and washed pillowcases and sheets with the NuWays 1, that's the final thing that helps to get rid of acne. How about PCOS? So PCOS is polycystic ovarian syndrome, and typically people with PCOS have got these cysts that are sort of growing around the polycystic ovary, and a lot of the issues that we see with this is the irregular menstrual cycles, excessive hair growth and acne, difficulty in becoming pregnant. Sometimes there's overweight, lack of energy, some skin tags, hair thinning, and this is another area that is very common. And that's because there's too many male hormones in the body. So what can you do for PCOS? You definitely want to get rid of the chemicals, because that's creating more problems. You get on the Endo System 1, which we talked about earlier, but you also bring into this prostate health. Now, this is a really powerful product, and as you can probably see, prostate is really a male's product, and that is absolutely correct. But this particular formula has ingredients like soy palmetto, which also helps to break down this DHT, which is actually prevalent in polycystic ovary sufferers. Too much of this male type hormone, and that's the one that causes the excess facial body hair and acne, oily skin. So we actually have women who start on the prostate health as well with the Endo System 1, and it seems to work even better if they're excessively oily. So definitely jump on that. Chalamin, we find a lot of women with PCOS have got are missing the magnesium, the chromium, the vitamin D. Chalamin is your solution there. And also your Revinol, which is your antioxidant. There are a number of products to be taken, but the problem is severe, and you do need to take the combination because it works that way. You know, your body needs a lot of help. So this is what we recommend for PCOS. Endometriosis, again, similar type of issues, a lot of lining issues of the endometriosis area, so it creates a lot of this buildup. Now, I just want to tell you here with the solution that we've got for endometriosis, I've had a number of women that I've helped turn this around who had to go into hospital every year to get it clean out. They've jumped on the program that I'm going to share with you in a moment, and they've turned this around. And one recently not only turned her endometriosis around, but she was somebody who had difficulties in falling pregnant. She had a miscarriage and was too afraid to have another baby in case she miscarried, because she could tell she wasn't very healthy. We got her on our cleanse, we cleaned her out, and then we put her onto the Endo System 1 Plus with Eusanol, and this turned everything around. Her doctors were amazed that it cleared up her endometriosis. Not only did it do that, but it also helped her fall pregnant, and now she's got a 19-month-old daughter, which she was absolutely over the moon with. So we bring in Euthanol on top of the NDAR system because this is the mother hormone. Remember we talked about DHEA in the beginning? Well, this is the one that's a lot of evidence is showing to help with turning around the endometriosis and also for fertility issues too. So you can see here, very powerful precursor to all your major sex hormones, estrogen, progesterone and testosterone, and helps with your metabolism as well. It has many other benefits, but the problem here in association with endometriosis is it's because DHEA declines, okay? It really starts to dip. So it's an anti-aging product as well as one that we use for endometriosis, and it's definitely a solution with the NDAR system to help you overcome that. Female infertility, very similar type of problems occurring here where they might have thyroid problems, they might have endometriosis. Those two go together. It's a very common issue. And some of them will even have PCOS. So you can see they're all interrelated. Okay. So what do we do here? Again, it's the NDAR System 1. You want to clean up your home, definitely. You want to use the NDAR System 1, and then you bring in your Euthanol, but also, because I mentioned earlier, Euthanol is also responsible for fertility, and here it talks about it. It has shown to improve fertility by increasing the number of eggs and embryos, improving the quality of eggs and embryos, and reducing chromosomal abnormalities in embryos. So this is why the lady I shared with you was not only able to turn around her endometriosis, but she was able to fall pregnant because her hormones were healthier. She was producing healthier eggs. So how exciting is that for people out there? Obviously there are other factors as well, but we're saying clean out your environment, clean out your body, give it good nutrition, watch what happens. Now, the other thing to be mindful is as well, some women have had immune system problems, and there's been an interesting find there where glandular fever sufferers some women who've had glandular fever in the past have had problems in regards to fertility. So we get them onto the Ming VMM and we clean out their immune system, and that's really helped to turn that around to build a stronger immune system. So definitely for somebody who's had glandular fever, incorporate your Ming VMM. It's an immune booster. What about our mature, wise women? So let's talk about you now, because you are very important, and I know as we get older, things seem to not to be as happy. So again, all of you are aware of what the symptoms are, from hot flushes, night sweats, and so forth. And you know, some of the more sort of internal issues as well. You've got bladder infections, low bone density, vaginal dryness. And I must say, when I first started learning about all of this and started to help women who were in menopause, that was the first time I'd heard about all these symptoms. I had no idea. Obviously, I was 28 and they were 50. So it was a whole new world. And yet, by the solutions I'm going to share with you now, we were able to turn their issues around. And the reason why a lot of these problems are happening is because they're deficient in natural estrogen. Remember I talked about in the beginning, there's xenoestrogen, foreign estrogen, you know, synthetic ones. Now, we need estrogen in our menopausal years, but we're getting the wrong type. We need natural occurring one, because that's the one that dips for women in their menopausal years. Okay, and their progesterone levels are also erratic. So the solution here is our NDAR System 2. So this one's been designed specifically to help bring in all those elements. And the good thing here is with NDAR System 2, two of the products stay the same. The harmonizing cream's the same. The NDAR Essential Multivitamin is the same. The only one that changes is transitions, because it's the transitional herbal formula. Okay. Now, what I love about this program is that my mum was the first one to experience the NDAR system. Well, what we had back then was the harmonizing cream, and we also had the multivitamin, not this one, but our Oracle multivitamin. And just with those two, she was able to turn around her hot flushes within 2 weeks. Now, they wanted her to go on HRT, and there was no way she was going to have a bar of that. But she was suffering so badly, like every winter, she'd have the windows open, you know, and walking around in T-shirts. And we'd go to visit her, and we'd be freezing, and she'd be, you know, breaking out in sweat. So this kind of program, just a couple of products that she used back then, changed everything for her. So how many women out there, again, are just dealing with those issues that just this combination could bring so much relief? So I'm not going to talk about the Endow Harmonizing Cream and Essentials again because we've covered that, but I'll touch on the transitions. So this is the herbal formula that has specific herbs that help with getting the body to produce the natural estrogen. Okay, so it helps you to do that and to regulate progesterone. So when women with menopausal issues start to use this, it's a greater fuel for their to balance those hormones. So it helps with their hot flushes, anxiety. Now here's the thing too, I had a woman who was on the program and she came to me, and I didn't know this at the time, but she said to me, Dora, and I'm going to be like, you know, quite open here because I think it matters. You know, she said to me, I can't believe this, but for 8 years I've been suffering with vaginal dryness. Now, I had no idea how that could impact somebody so greatly, a female, because I'm not, you know, in those years. And we put her on the Endow system, and especially the cream, and in this particular transition, and she was able. She came back to me. She said, Dora, it's all changed. You know, in the 8 years, she's had to do medication. She's had all sorts of things happen to her to try and lubricate that area. Nothing worked. Put her on the Endow system, it all turned around and she was back to normal lubrication. Now, the impact of that, if you have those issues in menopausal years, it's very uncomfortable, it's very difficult, it's very painful. And of course it impacts, you know, your intimacy as well, okay? So again, so many women are dealing with those types of problems. So the transition definitely helps with that. Stress, another big issue, we talked about it earlier. Actually, before I go into stress, I just want to go back to whether it is your Endow System 1 or 2. You know, the whole issue of lack of libido, and why I want to touch on this. Again, it's something that is a bit of a issue, well, not a bit, a lot, because again, so many women out there are not feeling intimate, they're not feeling, feeling like they just know that their libido isn't there, and a lot of problems are associated with that in regards to relationships, you know, with their partners. And why I like to talk about this is because I can tell you honestly, that was me back when I was 28, when I should have been in my prime. You know, that you know, part of my life should have been really exciting and happy. It wasn't. It was like, I'm not in the mood, I'm not interested, I just didn't care about it. So I'm being honest with you guys because I know it happens to women. And yet, when I got onto the hormonal products, everything changed. All of that changed. And so I know there are women out there who don't feel like being intimate with their partners, but they don't realize it's actually a hormonal problem, because it's not normal for us not to want to be sexually active and intimate and have a desire. It isn't normal, and yet so many people think, so many women are thinking that that is, you know, the way it is. Everything can change. And I've had women who have gone on to the cleanse, used the cream, and they've rung me up and they've said to me, Dora, is this meant to increase my libido because it's going through the roof? I said, yes, exactly right. So if that's you out there, do look at the system, whether it's Endow System 1 or 2. Stress, I touched on this and how it's a big issue these days, and you can see just all the side effects that it causes us. And for us women, it's a big deal, because the reality with the stress syndrome is the increase of cortisol. And so what happens is cortisol is overproduced. So it's this whole switched on, never off syndrome. And so cortisol is produced to try and get us through our day. But the reality is too much cortisol in our body then has a downer, okay? And it creates the cravings, it creates anxiety, it creates mood swings, it creates the fatigue, okay? The desire to keep eating, all right? So it's really important to understand that you need to have this area balanced, but you also need to get sleep early. I know it's hard. I'm guilty of that myself, but literally we need to be in bed by the latest 10 o'clock to be able to make sure our hormones produce properly while we're sleeping. But we know that that doesn't happen, okay, for most people. But do try and get some sleep, and also the solution there that you want to have as your friend, are one of two products, but the first one is Genesity. Genesity is the one that's specifically designed to deal with your adrenals. That's what stress is, and how the cortisol is produced. It's overworking your adrenals. So if you're feeling the fatigue and you're feeling like this constant go, 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 never switching off and getting anxious, insomnia is kicking in, you can't sleep, it's adrenal issues. Genesity is a beautiful formula. It is an inexpensive product that has literally saved women, okay? Have it with you all the time. It's a beautiful combination that balances those adrenals, reduces the stress on them, balances your sugar levels, so you're not running for chocolates and things like that, okay? When we talk about also the combination of the foundation products, which were the Ferox and the Oracle, the Revinol, which was the first pack I talked about, you want that in your body because that's your food. Introduce the Subvenal Endo cream and definitely the Genesity. That's a powerful pack to keep your hormones and adrenals, on track. Now, some of you might have a different type of stress. Some of you might be experiencing anxiety and also depression. Well, the product you want to use here is Extramin. Extramin is all about your nervous system. So there's a difference. One is adrenal stress. The other one is your nervous system. This product here, Extramin Be Calm, was the first product I used 17 years ago. When I was introduced to NuWaves through my brother, and I was introduced to this product because I was having anxiety attacks and palpitations and waking up in the middle of the night with panic attacks. So I was at my wit's end. I wasn't going to go down the medication path, yet I had to find a solution. To me, this product here saved my life. I started to use this. It calmed my nervous system down, where I went from being erratic to calm. And then I started to make some other changes in my life. But this helped me slow down. It helped me deal with the anxiety, the mild depression. Because I was working in a corporate job. I was doing 60, 70 hours a week. I was at, on switch. But for me, it was not only my adrenals, but it was also my nervous system. So this is a beautiful formulation that is safe, it's natural, and you want to have it in your home. You don't have to take it every day. You can take it when you're feeling like you're going to have an anxious moment, or you are having a bit of an attack. It just works beautifully. One of our major programs that we work with is our cleanse, and I'm not going to go into detail, but a lot of people have also started this way. It's a beautiful pack that really deals with a lot of the cleaning out. Remember we said in the beginning, you can't avoid all the chemicals out there, but you do need to cleanse to get rid of them. This is the cleanse that does it. It not only cleanses your body, and everyone can do this cleanse, it's not about weight loss. It does help you to lose weight in the process, and we've had amazing results with people losing weight, but also reversing their health challenges in many cases. And here's Mandy. Now this is a wonderful story, and this is one of many. And she's somebody who suffered with IBS for a very long time, 14 years, and she had a lot of issues relating this, abdominal pain, and here she says, 1 week prior to commencing the program, her abdominal pains were so severe that she passed out and was admitted to hospital. Since commencing the program, Mandy has been free of her IBS system. This is the power of what these products can do for you. And like I mentioned, one of many great stories. So if you want to do a cleanse, definitely want to look at that. And we've actually got next week's webinar where we're going to be talking about this cleanse. And our naturopath, Renee Roth, is going to be joining us to take us through this program. So we'll send you out the link and jump on and listen to how effective this program is, not only for losing weight, but cleaning out your body. And invite other people to jump on board as well, because it really can help so many. So that's our session for this evening, and I hope that you've been able to gain some information, learn some new things. Why don't you go ahead and pop in the chat box. What's something new you learned today that you didn't know of, that could help you change your health? I'd love to hear some feedback. And also get connected to the person that brought you here tonight, because they can help you to get started with these products. You don't have to wait any longer, seriously. I made a choice 17 years ago to start using the products. I changed my bathroom products, I changed my laundry products, and it was the best decision I ever made. It literally changed my life. You can start to get healthy in the next few days. You can get connected with these products, and the person who invited you can set you up to have your own membership where you actually buy it wholesale, so it's going to save you money. So they can also support you with additional information as well. So that's our session for this evening. It's been my great pleasure and privilege, and as I mentioned to you earlier, my passion is women, and so let's get out there. Let's, take control of our health. We can. I've given you some solutions here. Let's, really start to make a difference for ourselves, but also let's share it with others, because we don't want these types of issues to continue when they can so easily be helped. So I thank you for being on this evening. It's been great seeing so many people on, which is fantastic. We've had a pretty much filled webinar. And yeah, give me your feedback in the chat box. Wow, so Karen writes here, the power behind Eusanol, staying young and helping the endo. Awesome. Yeah, definitely. It's helped so many women, the endo system one with Eusanol, with endometriosis and PCOS. Mary writes, I've learned heaps, thanks Dora, so much valuable information. Great Mary, good stuff. Definitely get on and wherever necessary, use it for yourself and pass it on. Oh, I've got a question here. Is there a women's Viagra? I think I covered that. That's our Endow System 1 or 2, and especially the hormone cream, which is the Endow Harmonizing Cream. You want to be using that every day. It's the best female Viagra ever. I've had personal experience with it, and so have many other of my clients who've used it as well, so definitely get on that. Awesome. So if there are any other questions, go ahead and type them in the chat box. So we have got another person in Lourdes in Perth. She writes, I agree with Endow being a Viagra. There you go. I'm assuming, Lourdes, it's personal experience, which is fantastic. And we've got to share our personal experiences. Why hide these things? We want to be real. I want to be real with you, ladies, because I want you to know. I want you to be armed. I want you to have the information that can change your lives. So it's great. Awesome. I've got another question here. Can you use transitions if you aren't menopausal yet? Absolutely. Good question. Thanks, Catherine. Definitely. If you're feeling like you're premenopausal, like you're about to go into that stage, by all means. And another thing here is so many women are going into menopause before their time. It's happening earlier and earlier. So you can either use Endow System 1 if you're premenopausal and see what happens, because you might find that you're going to delay the whole menopause, journey. And why not? Because that's a healthier way. But if you do want to try transitions and you're premenopausal, absolutely. Okay, so if you've got any other questions, fire away. Happy to sit here for the next couple of minutes and answer any. Was this useful? Did you get some valuable information tonight? If you did, pop your hands up. Love to hear, love to see if that's worked for you, because it's all about making sure it worked for you. Great stuff. Excellent. Karen writes, happy wife, happy life. Absolutely. I think it's happy woman, happy world. Whether you're married or not, happy woman, happy world. That's for sure. And by all means, those of you who've used some of these products and you've got testimonials yourself, type them in. Love to hear what you've experienced with some of these products, because we've only got an hour and I can't get everything I'd love to in these webinars, but it's all about giving you a place to start and giving you some real testimonials that can help you. But if you do have one, by all means, pop them in the chat box. Happy to read it out. Okay, well, I think that's it for our session this evening. Thanks, everybody. Look forward to seeing you on the next webinar. So next Tuesday is our nutritional cleanse. Okay, I've got here some feedback from Catherine. She says, your skin changes when you take Feroxin. Have just reintroduced it and my skin is like silk. Excellent story there, Catherine. Absolutely. And that's because it's minerals. Your body is made of minerals and it needs minerals to function, and your hair, skin and nails will definitely improve. So there you go. Great to see that you've experienced that in the first week or so of using it again. Well done. Great testimonial. All right, guys, that's our session for this evening. Have a wonderful rest of the week, and we look forward to seeing you on our next webinar. Good night for now. Bye. Bye, everyone. Yep. Bye, guys. Thanks for your buys in the chat box. Thank you. Yes, thanks to you too. Good night. High fives to everyone. Bye-bye.